Think about this for a second. What if every single thing you do, your work, your chores, even just grabbing a coffee, could be a powerful act of devotion? It's a pretty radical idea, right? So let's dive into this because we're about to look at a perspective that can literally change not just what you do, but how you feel about your entire life. And our foundation for this whole idea comes from this incredible teaching in the Bhagavad Gita. And just notice what it's saying here. It's not asking for some grand, complicated gesture. Nope. A leaf, a flower, a little bit of water. The offering itself is incredibly simple. What matters, the two key ingredients, are love and devotion. And then it expands this into something completely revolutionary. Everything you do, every single action, can become that offering. So let's make this super personal right now. Think about your job, your daily routine. The stuff that sometimes just feels like a total grind. Imagine flipping a switch in your mind that turns all of that time, all of that effort into a meaningful, powerful prayer. That is the exact shift in perspective we're going to unpack. Okay, so how do we actually do that? How does a boring task become a sacred prayer? Well, it all starts with something surprisingly simple. It really just comes down to one thing: your attitude. The action itself, well, that becomes secondary to the intention, to the feeling behind it. You can really see two completely different ways of living here. On the left, you've got actions that are just driven by habit. Maybe you do something spiritual just because you're supposed to. It's kind of like you put your spiritual life in a little box you only open on Sundays. But on the right, that's where the magic happens. In an attitude-focused life, the why is everything. It's all driven by genuine love, and suddenly, there's no more separation. Your whole life becomes a spiritual practice. God doesn't need our things, our stuff, but deeply values the devotion with which we offer it. And you see this all the time in everyday life. A mother doesn't take care of her child because it's some rule in a book. She does it because it's a pure expression of her love. Or think about how your whole body language changes when you get a call from someone you really, really respect. You might even stand up straight without even thinking about it. The action is just a natural side effect of the inner attitude. And that's exactly what we're aiming for. All right, to really make this idea click, let's get into this fantastic story. It perfectly captures this amazing transformation from just a mundane chore into a profound honor. So picture a professional driver. His job is pretty straightforward, right? Maybe even a little boring. He drives his boss around day in, day out. The goal is simple: do the work, get the paycheck. It's a transaction, plain and simple. Then one morning, he gets a new assignment. Now, the physical task is exactly the same: drive a person from point A to point B. But this time, the passenger is Mahatma Gandhi. And boom, in that single moment, absolutely everything changes. Is the car different? Nope. Is the route new? Nope. The work is identical, but his entire inner world has been completely transformed. What was a transactional job has suddenly become a profound honor, a joyful service. He's not thinking about his salary anymore. He's just filled with this incredible sense of pride and purpose. That's the power of dedicating our work to someone or something we see as greater than ourselves. So that's a great story. But beyond that amazing feeling of honor, what are the actual tangible benefits of bringing this perspective into our own lives? It turns out when we start seeing our work as a service, it comes with some pretty incredible gifts. Here they are, the 5 key benefits that start to unfold. When we treat our work as an offering, it can make it a pleasure, remind us of our true place in the universe, guide our actions, help us let go of our ego, and finally, lead us to some seriously deep knowledge. So, let's break each one down. First up, and maybe the one you'll feel the fastest, is that your work becomes a source of genuine joy. Just like it did for Gandhi's driver. You're no longer just slugging through the week waiting for that paycheck. You actually start to find real satisfaction in the process itself. In doing your absolute best as an offering, the work truly becomes its own reward. The second benefit is a huge mental shift in how we see all the stuff we have. Think of it like this. If you're at a friend's house and they offer you a drink in a beautiful silver cup, you use it, you admire it, but you don't walk out the door with it, right? Because you're a guest. This perspective suggests we are trustees of everything: our talents, our money, even our bodies, not the final owners. They're just on loan to us, to be used wisely. And, once you start seeing yourself as a trustee, as a caretaker in a world that belongs to a higher power, your whole ethical compass gets a major tune-up. You're way more likely to act righteously, to follow what's known as dharma, the right way of living, because you're not just trying to grab what you can for personal gain, you're trying to act like a responsible caretaker. This one is huge. When we succeed at something, the ego just loves to jump up and down and scream, "I did that! Look at me! I'm so great!" But when we offer our work, we start to realize that our talents, our skills, our opportunities, they all come from a source way beyond ourselves. And this perspective allows us to share the credit for our success, which just gently and slowly starts to dissolve that ego. And that leads us to the ultimate goal of this whole practice. It's a journey that takes us beyond the ego's constant need for attention and into a completely new way of being. This is what it's all about: ego surrender. It's this profound realization that shifts your entire identity from "I am the doer" to "I am an instrument." You start to feel that your actions are flowing through you, not just from you. It's like you stop trying to be the main character of the story and realize you're playing a vital part in a much, much larger divine play. So, here's the bottom line. This practice isn't about trying to please some distant, abstract entity. It's a powerful tool for self-transformation. By offering our actions, we fill them with meaning. We find joy in the most mundane tasks, and we fundamentally change our relationship with ourselves and the entire world around us. And that brings us to the final question, the one I want you to take with you. It doesn't have to be some huge, monumental task. Just start with one small thing. Maybe it's the way you answer an email. Maybe it's making dinner tonight with a little more love. Or maybe it's just truly, deeply listening to a friend. What is one action you can consciously choose to do today, not as a chore, but as a pure offering of devotion?